When Miss Kuchanak and Dmitriev won the gold.
Young's football career has brought him fame and fortune. In college, he led BYU to a couple of conference championships, breaking 13 NCAA records on the way. He excelled in his studies, winning the title Academic All-American. Steve Young built on his collegiate success in the pros. As a San Francisco 49ers quarterback, Young is the first pro to lead the league in passing for 3 consecutive years. His grace and athletic ability bring many honors from his colleagues, fans, and the press. Yet for all his success on the football field, Steve Young tells young people in this Freedom's Foundation presentation that his greatest pride comes from his heritage.
Of all the titles and honors, the title that I claim and that means the most to me is that of being an American.
Young says he's an ordinary guy who had the good fortune to be raised in an American home. He's thankful he had the freedom to explore his interests, be they running the ball in for a touchdown or graduating with a degree from BYU Law School. And he's mindful that freedom in a democracy requires sacrifices and personal accountability.
Virtue is a primary responsibility of a people under this form of government. To require public virtue of the elected officials without private virtue in its citizens is to require something that cannot be.
As one who believes in practicing public virtue, Steve Young established the Forever Young Foundation. Its goal is to aid charities which promote the interests of children. The Forever Young Foundation also sponsors its own events, providing opportunities for children that they might not otherwise enjoy. America's Freedom Festival salutes Steve Young, Grand Marshal of the 1994 parade.
Well, indeed, Steve Young is our Grand Marshal this year for the 94 parade. Portions of that video, by the way, Cammie, were courtesy of the Freedom Foundation at Valley Forge. Very patriotic day here in Provo, and the Provo Freedom Festival is into how many years? You've been here a good many of those?
Well, actually, yes. We've been broadcasting these proceedings for quite some time. I'm not really sure how long the parade has been around.
Well, more about this Sir Toma. We're going to see Steve Young here in just a moment, early on in the parade. But these guys came by here and shocked this entire street, not once, but about 4 times with this huge cannon blast.
Yes, the cannon is by guys who are dressed in traditional colonial soldier uniforms. They start the Freedom Festival parade every year. It's something that people always look forward to.
Now, it's a real cannon. I noticed they fire this off about every 50 yards or so, and this huge smoke ring comes out and literally dazzles this audience.
Sure, it climbs up to the top of the buildings, and everyone has a great time watching it.
Now this is for, it's a club that provides for the hearing impaired.
Right. They provide hearing aids to those who need them, and hearing tests and things like that, making them available to folks who can't have access to that kind of help otherwise.
You know, this parade is the culmination of almost 3 or 4 days of celebration. I know I've been involved with the Clogger Festival, and the Miss Provo pageant is always a big part of what goes on here during Freedom Festival.
There's lots of activities, and part of the Freedom Festival, of course, is the Miss Provo Scholarship Pageant, and that was just held this weekend.
And it was Marin Paxman was at the pageant and reported this particular report for us. So, Marin?
Tonight's purpose was to crown a new Miss Provo 1994. 9 young women were poised and ready to compete for the crown. Miss Provo of 1993, Brenda Birch, performed for the last time before crowning the new Miss Provo. Brenda Birch is thankful for her opportunity to represent Provo.
Last year, I will remember this night, of course. It was a wonderful night, and I've had an absolutely fabulous year doing parades, grand openings, performing at different Freedom Festival events. It has been a wonderful, outstanding experience. It's given me the opportunity to grow and stretch.
It's not only beauty that makes a woman a pageant queen, it's talent, interview, and evening gown. The talent competition counted for 40% of the final score. Talent included dancing, singing, music, poetry, fashion design, and drama. Not only do the young women have to be talented, they also need to be intelligent. Interview counts for 30% of their final score. They finished the evening by being poised, confident, and yes, glamorous in their evening gowns. At the end of the evening, a new Miss Provo was crowned.
For 1994 is Wendy Anderson.
Miss Provo's attendants are Anna Nibley and Heidi Perry. The new Miss Provo 1994, Wendy Anderson, feels pageants offer a lot to young women.
I think that they help girls with their self-esteem and their composure, and I've seen nothing but a positive experience for me and my sisters and friends who have been in pageants.
Maureen Paxman, KBYU Report.
The new Miss Provo is going to receive a $1,000 scholarship, and she'll be able to compete for Miss Utah next year.
Wow,
Great
best of
opportunity.
luck to her.
Well, we have someone who's been attending the Freedom Festival Parade for a very long time. Let's meet her. Rob Rotter is talking with her now.
Her name is Carolyn Howe, and she's actually been coming to the parade since 1960. Tell us what it was like back then.
It was very nice, but it wasn't as organized as it is today.
And what other differences have you seen?
There's lots more variety. There's lots more people that come. The floats are, there's been a lot of time and effort put into all of the floats. It's been very beautiful.
Now, you've been coming to the parade for 34 years now. Is that straight?
I came in 1960 as a freshman to BYU, and I've been coming every year since, except when I was a missionary in Hawaii from 63 to 65.
Well, Carolyn Howe, enjoy this year, and back to you, Cammie and Tom.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Rob. Well, coming up here soon, we're going to see lots more soldiers, lots more floats. We'll see beauty queens galore from all parts of Utah Valley. It's going to be lots of fun.
You know, what was interesting, I got up way early this morning, but obviously several hundred people got up this morning for the Freedom Run 10K fun run. And it was cool enough this morning, obviously, for them to have a good time, because there were just a bundle of them walking by the studio set up here. And the hot air balloons were out early this morning, and the ugliest dinosaur I have ever seen.
Yeah, that's sort of an unusual one this year. It's new.
The dinosaur.
The dinosaur is new in the Balloon Fest.
Sort of like a sore thumb, you know. There's a dinosaur and then about 30 other balloons. But, you know, it's one of these things that really electrifies Utah County this time of the year, the Balloon Festival and the 10K run. And something that I was part of not long ago, well, actually Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, and Tuesday, was the Clogger Festival.
Yes, loose hinges and fast feet are attracting attention in Utah County, but they're not at a haunted house.
No, Jennifer Franks brings us the story from the National Clogging Festival that was held this year at the Sierra Shell. This is interesting stuff.
Cloggers throughout the Intermountain region came to Orem this week to entertain and compete as part of the Freedom Festival.
Well, clogging is the oldest American dance outside of the Indians. So we're part of we're the roots of the freedom. It was that kind of spirit, the lively music and the dancing that went along with all the freedoms of America, and pioneers dancing all the way out here.
The show is lively, but putting 200 dancers on stage isn't without challenges, and often it's the mothers who see most of it.
A lot of practice, a lot of costumes, a lot of dedication.
The average young clogger spends 1 to 2 hours in class each week, and individual practice is required daily. But the performers will tell you that it's worth it.
Come back to dance again
after this number.
And you go to lots of places.
The teams clogging in this week's competition and festival at the Sarah Rochelle have traveled throughout Utah, Missouri, California, and most recently performed in the Miss America pageant in Atlanta, Georgia. The sport can capture anyone, girls, boys, the young, and the young at heart.
This was something that every one of us has wanted to do when we were younger, and we never had the opportunities.
Participants in this foot stump and hand clap and show will conclude the week by competing for one of 10 top positions. If you are interested in attending, you can call 224-8797 for details. Jennifer Franks reporting for KBYU.
Well, what do you think, Cammie? Do you want to learn how to clog?
Oh, that sounds like fun. Now, have you learned to clog with your association with the group?
I have done some basic steps. I'm a little too old for that. The kids down there have a habit of calling 911 and having an ambulance standing by when I do clog.
Oh, dear.
There's over 100 clog dance studios in the state of Utah. It's become very big here. So if you want to learn how, or anyone seeing us today wants to learn how, get a hold of us. It looks like Rob Rodder's got another guest for us out on the street here on Center Street and University in Provo. Rob?
That I do. We just talked to Carolyn. She'd been here for about 34 years. We just found a group who's been here a little bit less. In fact, this is their first year. Tell us a little bit about why you're out here today.
Well, we wanted to have the kids experience some patriotic 4th of July.
And is this your first year?
This is our first year.
And you brought the kids?
We brought the kids. We hope they have a good time, and I'm sure they'll love it.
Now, what have you heard about the parade?
Just that there's celebrities in it. Steve Young is the Grand Marshal, and lots of bands and music and lots of fun.
Now, what's your name?
Miranda.
And Miranda, what are you looking forward to in the parade?
Dancing.
Well, you'll definitely get a lot of that. Well, Tom and Cammie, it's definitely a fun parade, and back to you. We'll see what it looks like.
Well, we can actually see the beginning of the parade now. The flag is flying, and of course, the escort, the Utah County Sheriff's Department there, the sirens and whatnot. We're getting excited now.
Yes, we are. And there's the Delaware Regiment right in back of the Sheriff's Department. We've already soldiers reenacting in the Sertoma Club, but now the Delaware Regiment, they started in 1989, and they are reenacting the original Delaware Regiment that was formed in 1775. Some of the folks who helped us win our freedom that we appreciate today. This particular group has 13 soldiers, and they live on the Wasatch Front. They're not actually from Delaware, but they help remind us of what this day is all about.
Here's a little one so awed about what's going on. Of course, this is the Freedom Festival Parade in Provo, right here on University Avenue. You know, Cammie, one of the exciting KBYU community events coming up is Be Kind to Humankind Festival. That's August 6th. So you party today and have something to look forward to at the BYU Marriott Center in Provo.
Yes, the festival activities will include storytelling, crafts, children's booths, performances that reinforce being kind to humankind, and a final performance by a special guest. And do you know who that might be?
He's everybody's favorite purple dinosaur. KBYU TV has invited Barney from the popular PBS children's program Barney and Friends to conclude the festival with a 20-minute sing-along. I know all of his songs. I love you, you love me. It's a great,
very good. Well,
great
maybe
show.
you can consider as a backup career option, Tom.
Maybe not.
Along with the festival activities, KBYU TV will be accepting donations of food, clothing, toys, books, and other needed items for this Family Support and Treatment Center nursery at the Marriott Center. So when you go to the festival, bring along something to donate as well.
You know, KBYU is looking forward for volunteers to help with the outside activities. So volunteers, contact KBYU TV officers and sign up. Well, of course, our next entry is our Grand Marshal. This is Steve Young. You saw him in the package piece we ran just a few moments ago. Steve is from all over. He is from Connecticut originally, born in Salt Lake, but raised in Connecticut, spent a lot of time there. He is this year's Grand Marshal for the Freedom Festival Grand Parade. Represents Utah well, has, of course, been a great influence on the youth of America. And by the way, and I didn't know this, there was something that had to click here, but he is the great grandson, Cammie, of Brigham Young.
Well, that would make sense.
He's the starting quarterback for the NFL San Francisco 49ers. Won a lot of football awards, and of course he's winning awards here as well as the hearts of everyone attending the Freedom Festival Parade. Look at it. No one can get close enough to Steve Young.
Lots of kids hopeful of getting an autograph today, which he's very, very happy to do.
Steve, what a guy. You know, he does a lot for charity in the state of Utah. Handicap sports at Snowbird in Park City, and a man who, despite his busy schedule, still has enough time to give for others.
Absolutely. And we see now Lothair Bluth, who is the president of the board of directors of America's Freedom Festival. This is an incredible undertaking every year. We start celebrating in June. In the middle of June is when all the Freedom Festival activities begin, but it takes a lot of preparation all year long to bring them here. He was born in Mexico City, Mexico, and was raised in Mesa, Arizona. Lothair Bluth, president of the Freedom Festival. He's been involved for about 6 years now.
I can't imagine the logistics that go into coordinating all of the events, whether it be the Freedom Run or the volleyball or the Word Perfect Tennis Open or even the golf and firecracker softball. It's an amazing logistical nightmare, but he seems to pull it off. Our next entry is the 23rd Army Band, the Utah Army National Guard from West Jordan, Utah. They do sound good on a 4th of July. There are 58 members under the direction of CW3 Norman R. Wendell. This Army Band from Utah's Army National Guard is playing patriotic and ceremonial music. Why don't we just take a minute and listen to that? Hello there. Members of this band have full-time jobs outside of being in the band. They work as teachers and attorneys and accountants. Some are TV producers, counselors, law enforcement officers, college students. Some of them are professional musicians, but obviously they have a good time being together playing in this parade.
Well, here we have waving to the crowd Mayor George Stewart of Provo, along with his wife, Joanna. Mayor Stewart was elected to a 4-year term in Provo that just began this year, so he's right in the middle of his first year, getting to wave at the crowd here during the Freedom Festival activities.
My goodness, the name of this float is Wave of Freedom. This is the Provo City royalty, the ones we saw just a few moments ago.
And they have won the Grand Marshal's Award.
That's an amazing float. A lot of work went into this. The newly crowned Miss Provo royalty. Queen is Wendy Anderson. Her first attendant is Anna Nibley. Second attendant is Heidi Perry. It's adorned with a patriotic boy holding a history book, symbolic of the rich history and heritage of our country, and a patriotic girl working on an American flag. Her efforts are symbolic of the freedom enjoyed by all Americans. Propelled by a two-piece motorized vehicle under there somehow. 65 feet long and 14 feet wide. Good-looking float. And our Grand Marshal Award winner this year.
It goes to the most creative design.
I should say, and the prettiest girls.
Aha, we have the baby contest winners. Of course, the baby contest, one of the pre-festival activities. And this year it was a Charlie Brown theme. So all the babies were to come dressed up in their favorite Charlie Brown Peanuts character. And there are about 1,000 babies who enter this contest every year.
That's amazing.
Lots of cute kids on there today.
I'd be too nervous to enter that if I were a baby.
Absolutely. Fortunately, they don't know what they're getting into, so.
Well, they're riding a trolley and they're having a good time. One's having lunch there, I can see. And if you were waving, hi. Good looking, oh, and somebody lost their bow there. Well, coming up next, Dr. and Mrs. James Ashman and their beautiful Arabian horses. Take a look at those saddles, too. Wow. They're from Mapleton. These Arabian horses have been ridden in over 100 parades, and they've also participated in endurance rides of up to 50 miles. The Ashmans breed and sell Welsh ponies, and they're very gorgeous.
One of the other activities is the speech contest, the speech and essay contest, actually. And that's open to school students of all ages. The speech contest actually is just for high school students. So we have the winners here. Well, we have the essay winners here and the speech winners together on the same truck. But the essay contest is open to students of all ages. And if you have a Freedom Festival magazine, it has their essays printed in there as well.
You know, that's not easy. I took a lot of speech and drama classes in high school, and did I do that?
It takes, of course you could. The winners are Marcus Boyer and Eric Hansen, Elizabeth Wilson, and Preston George. And they are the essay contest winners. Speech contest winners are Mary Kay Swim, Mark Gulbranson, and they're riding a 1993 fire engine. We have an excited little fan here watching the band. That band comes from Timpview High School. And hopefully soon they'll start playing for us.
You know, that's one of the things I love about parades. Wherever and whenever they are is the high school bands that get together and the pep clubs that follow them. And, you know, that's where the future musicians of the world are coming from. They get started in high school, and, you know, if you're an accomplished musician now, it probably started in high school. The Timpview High School Band is on their way, and we will hear from them. You know, I really am amazed. The Miss Provo pageant has happened. The cloggers, the patriotic service at BYU, the baby contest, the Stadium of Fire was Saturday night, and there is still more to come with a day in the park in the Orem City Park with fireworks tonight to begin at 10:15. So we're not done partying.
No, we're not. There's a bicycle race. Lots of great racers in this county who will be participating today at 1 o'clock, and you can see them start off at UVSC at the east entrance there. And also the Arts Festival here at Center and University in Provo. That's going to continue through the rest of the day also.
Artists from all over the great state of Utah are represented there, as well as from some of the surrounding states. I know there's some Idaho artists over there, as well as some folks from up in the Jackson area of Wyoming. Beautiful area and lots of talented people. Well, as you can see, the Timpview High School Band is on their way. Looks like they're about ready to get underway and play some music for us. They have been in the Freedom Festival Parade every year, and why not? There's always got to be a band from Timpview, and they're always well represented. There's 110 members to this band. It varies with year, of course, with the color guard and cheer squad included there. The band is under the direction of David Fulmer. Come on, you guys, play us a song.
Now we have, there's a very interesting parade that's going on today in Connecticut for the 4th of July. They don't allow any bands. You have to have a boombox to march in this parade. Anyone can be in the parade as long as they carry a radio, and there's a local radio station that provides march music, so everyone's playing the same thing.
I was going to say, that would be awful.
Yeah, it could be really horrible.
Yeah, get 10,000 different radio stations going on. Of course, in Williamette, Connecticut, the boombox parade is going, but in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, where all the great cloggers are.
Yes.
They
already had their 4th of July parade. We get started at 9 o'clock. They have theirs at 12:01 a.m. on July 4th. That's great.
Way too early for me. This was early for me. Well, anyway, here they are, the Timpview High School Marching Band. The piece they hopefully will perform for us is John Philip Sousa's Liberty Bell March. Sousa known for great marches, and what would any holiday be? There they go. Let's listen to the John Philip Sousa Liberty Bell March. Western States Regional Championships now for the past 3 years, and they'll be performing at the Midwest Clinic in Chicago around Christmas time of this year. Thanks for being here. Timpview High School Band, look at them.
And they have the cheerleaders in back of them, and everyone needs to know that the Timpview High School cheerleaders have been nationally recognized as a well-ordered group, and they've won lots of awards as well. You Now, we do 4th of July in a very big way here in Utah, but as we've mentioned, a couple of other activities going on around the country. In Oatman, Arizona, it is so hot there that they have a sidewalk egg frying contest on the 4th of July. It's at 12 noon. You have 30 minutes in which to fry your egg, but you can only use solar heat, which is possible there with temperatures up to around 115 degrees at noon.
I should say. And of course, Lovington, New Mexico. I love the great state of New Mexico. Their world's greatest lizard race is taking place this morning with 9,000 people attending each year to watch the lizards race down a 16-foot ramp. Do you get the impression that maybe they're a little bored in Lovington, New Mexico?
They might not have much to do, but there are probably lots of lizards there, so they
now
can put them to work.
Here's the cheerleaders right there in front of us. Of course, we got some royalty coming up here too, some very important people.
Yes, we do. The Provo City Council members. David Rail, council member representing the Northwest District, along with Jane Carlisle, council member representing the Northeast District. Now, Mr. Rail was sworn into office in January of this year. He's currently serving as chairman of the Municipal Council. He's married, and he and his wife are the parents of 6 children. Now, Mrs. Carlisle, in the white Jeep there, was sworn into office in January of this year as well. She's currently serving as the vice chair. And there we have the Air Force flyby, F-16s from Hill Air Force Base.
You don't tell me these. This is my first year working with you. You have not told me to be prepared for these things.
I forgot to tell you about all the noise here, Tom.
Now, that was whom again?
Those are from the 419th Fighter Wing, I believe, from Hill Air Force Base.
Wow. Boy, that's breathtaking to see those jets fly over.
Yeah, you've seen those bumper stickers that say, if I were in an F-16, I'd be home by now. Well, absolutely.
More of the city, Provo City Council members in front of us now.
Yes, we're continuing on with James Daly, a council member from the Southeast District, and Dennis Hall, council member at large is what we're calling him today. Now, Mr. Hall was sworn into office in 1992, and he's on this Budget and Strategic Planning Committee, Economic Development, Neighborhood Chairman Program, the Neighborhood Services and Redevelopment Agency committees, and he and his wife are the parents of 5 children. Councilmember Daly was sworn into office on January 7th, 1992, and he's currently serving on the Budget and Strategic Planning Committee as well, along with Communications, Energy, Parks and Recreation Committees, and the Redevelopment Agency, and he has 2 daughters with his wife.
Well, as you can see now, some pretty nice-looking kids. These are the participants in the Children's Parade. These are the winners. And the Children's Parade, just another one of the wonderful facets of the Freedom Festival celebration here in Provo.
Yes, that just took place over the weekend.
Yeah.
Already veterans of the parade experience. They've got that wave down real well.
Well, her next stop is the Miss Provo pageant.
Yes, in just a few years.
She'll get that down. The Children's Parade winners, the family category. Hot air balloons. As you can see this morning, I counted them. There were 30 hot air balloons.
Were there really?
Over Provo. A good morning for hot air balloon flying, and a pretty nice tradition. It's such a visual, more than you can take in, a kaleidoscope of colors when they get those balloons up.
Now
of course, our next, I'm sorry.
No, go right ahead.
Our next float that you see coming up, there's one of those balloons there, all over the valley this morning. This is called Children of the World Wave for Freedom. And of course, again, we thank our New Skin International Incorporated sponsors who have helped make this broadcast possible. They've been in the parade for the last couple of years. New Skin International is a big part of Utah County. And again, we thank them for their participation in this morning's parade. 50 children involved from the International Children's Choir School. Their director of choir is Kathy Sorensen. The 2 equestrian riders are Mary Ann Ford and Tricia Christensen. You'll see them just ahead of the blinking fire engine down there. This float has portions of a giant red, white, and blue flag unfurling from the front to the back. At the end of the float, the stripes dissolve into the streamers being carried by doves. Very visually pleasing. Look at that. The children from the International Children's Choir School are from throughout Utah. They're children from all over the world who are currently living in Utah with their families. The costumes they're wearing represent many different countries, representing the idea that all nations yearn for freedom. And due to the heat, some of the more elaborate costumes could not be worn this morning. The songs they're singing are from around the world, including numbers from China and Hungary. And those 2 beautiful horses are owned by Blake and Kirk Roney. They are Missouri foxtrotters and can also do the Spanish walk. I had no idea horses could be that talented.
Well, there you have it. Well, we've had some representatives from Timpview High School. It's only fitting that we get their rival Provo High School in here. We have members of the Provo High School student government riding a hook and ladder fire truck from Provo City. Now, of course, the purpose of the student government is to organize Provo High School activities and bring a positive image from the high school to the city, and they're doing that today. Not too many of them dressed in their traditional colors, though. I only see a couple of green shirts. But they are advertising a couple of fun activities. Looks like they have a dance coming up here soon and all kinds of fun things. There are 26 of them on this truck today from the Provo High School student government. You know, we're celebrating the birthday of America today, but there are other folks who were born on the 4th of July. In fact, Ann Landers and Abigail Van Buren, the twin advice columnists, were born today.
Had no idea.
In 1918.
What you're seeing now is Kenneth Day. He's the sponsor of the Ken Day Arabians from Fillmore, Utah. Kenneth and Annette Day and their granddaughter Jamie Ann Day are riding today, looking like the chic of Arabia. Arabian horses are known for their beauty and speed and endurance. These horses are fully registered, have been shown throughout Utah. The costumes and riding gear have been all handmade and stitched. Very beautiful looking.
There's a great looking costume here worn by George Noden. He's dressed in an authentic Indian headdress and costume. He's ridden in lots of parades throughout the United States. We're glad he could be here today.
Provo High School's band is with us. A lot of bands today. There are 70 participants in this marching band and cheer squad. Scott McKeating, or McMead, how does he say that? McMeeking is the band director this year at Provo. They're playing music from Raiders of the Lost Ark. Their colors are green and white. Let's take a listen to the Provo High School band as they go by. Be the cheerleading squad coming up here in front of us now, but the Red Lion float is on your screen.
Of course, with the Red Lion mascot riding atop, with lots of Red Lion employees as well. And they're even in uniform today. Didn't even get a day off.
Oh, they have to be open today?
Absolutely.
There's the chef. Guy's good. Never trust a skinny chef.
There you go. Now in the center you see sort of this twirling display of pictures that shows all of the fun things there are to do in Utah.
This year there are over 100 entries in the parade. The Red Lion welcomes the world entry is only entry number 20, so we've got a lot of great floats ahead of you. Of course, the next one is Michael O. Levitt, the 14th governor of the great state of Utah.
And there he is with his wife.
Rob is,
That's right.
is trying to sneak a ride with the governor.
I am, and he won't let me on.
Good idea.
I'm with Governor Levitt and First Lady Mrs. Levitt. You guys are enjoying the parade.
Oh, we're loving it. We're just enjoying it. The weather's, whoever was in charge of weather, they did a good job.
They certainly did. Now, Governor...
This is what America is about, the 4th of July and parades in Provo, Utah.
Now, you're from Utah. What?
Yes, well, I grew up in Cedar City, and we have a big parade in Cedar City, but we're delighted to be here today. What a gorgeous day.
Now, when I say the 4th of July, what comes to your mind?
Well, fireworks and the games at the dunking pond at the park.
Well, enjoy the parade. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Mike Levitt and Jackie, his beautiful wife, currently serves on many national associations and teams, was elected in 1993. As he mentioned, he's from Cedar City. He and Jackie are the parents of 5 lovely children.
Now we have here some antique modes of transportation. We're going to see some carriages and some antique cars, and well, something that's not so antique. We have a little clown here having lots of fun entertaining the crowd. But right in back of him you see, well, we did see there for a moment, a beautiful carriage in which Rich and Connie Erickson, the parade co-chairs, are riding in. There they are.
And of course, Freedom, how sweet it is. The Miller Honey Company out of Orem, Utah. This is their first year in this year's parade. George and Mimi Murdoch are riding in a 1914 Model T Ford Boxback, which has been fully restored. Quite a good-looking car there. The company was founded by Nephi Miller and is still owned and operated by third-generation descendants of the founder, the Miller Honey Company.
It's another shot of Rich and Connie Erickson's gorgeous, gorgeous. That's a burgundy-colored carriage they're riding in with those two beautiful horses and a rider with top hat and coat, all the finery. Well, we have the Coca-Cola folks who are here today, providing lots of stuff for people to drink, and they're having a Catch the Wave float for us today. Actually, it's a truck, an old truck that looks like a delivery truck for Coca-Cola.
1925 Ford truck and a couple of sun-kissed go-karts. And Welch is, that's what I want to do someday in a parade, is ride around in those
There you
little
go.
cars.
That sounds like fun. Catch the Wave. And in fact, the theme for this year's Freedom Festival is the Wave of Freedom. So they're right with it today.
This looks like something I used to cruise around in when I was in college. That's all I could afford to live in. The Diamond Mules. This is Fred and Betty Diamond out of Springville. Fred and Betty. It sounds like the Flintstones.
There you go, yeah.
That fancy hitch wagon there is pulled by a team of fancy mules named Nancy and Jill.
They train all of their own mules. It's great.
They certainly do. Trained mules. There ought to be more of those in the world, don't you think? Ah, and more music is coming up. I can hear it in the background.
You can hear it, and there they are, the Springville High School Band. Now let's see who can be first to identify what they're playing.
Name that tune in 50 notes.
There you go. Their director is Brian Tobler. Drum major this year is Sean Tolman. Were you ever in a marching band, Tom?
I never was. I could never keep a beat. I am told they are playing a march by Henry Fillmore called His Honor. School colors, you can see them there. They perform all over the state. They have placed second in the state this year. Randall Beach is the drum instructor.
You know, speaking of musicians, today is also the birthday of Louis Armstrong, one of the greatest musicians of all time.
You are just a wealth of knowledge. Happy birthday to
Louis Armstrong.
Wherever you are, Louis, know we're thinking of you. And,
yes,
of course, Abigail and
Abigail and Ann
Landers. That's right. Birthdays today.
Well, the band is fading off into the distance, and we're going to see next, coming up here, Rex Lee, president of Brigham Young University, along with his wife, Janet. This is his 5th year as president of BYU. He is BYU's 10th president. He's had an impressive legal career, of course, as former U.S. Solicitor General. He's argued around 59 cases before the Supreme Court. He was also the founding dean of BYU's J. Reuben Clark Law School. Now, his wife is also a BYU graduate. She studied elementary education, and she's worked as an educator. And they are the parents of 7 children and 6 grandchildren, probably some of them out here on the street watching the parade and enjoying it as well.
City royalty. They're all quite beautiful from Springville, Utah. The Miss Springville royalty includes Queen, who's Amber Folster, the first lieutenant, Bethany Olin.
And there's a cute little spectator.
I should say, and they're going to get a little bit of sunshine today. We couldn't have asked for nicer weather. Behind President Rex Lee, the Sweepstakes award-winning entry this year in the Freedom Festival Parade called Magic Memories. This is the Springville City royalty from Springville, Utah. They have maintained afloat in this parade for 10 years. Obviously, they had a good time or they wouldn't come back. But the Miss Springville royalty includes Queen Amber Folster. First attendant is Bethany Ollerton. Second attendant is Sunshine Downey. Isn't that a great name? Sunshine Downey.
That's perfect.
Third attendant is Carrie Betts. This is a 2-piece float with the Springville royalty carried on the first part. And of course, the second part carries a large blue dragon and castles. The colors blue and purple. Miss Springville and her royalty.
Now, all of the city royalty that we're seeing throughout this parade will have an opportunity to compete in the Miss Utah pageant, which is coming up, well, next year. They'll have an opportunity to do that. And very soon here, we're going to get a chance to see the current Miss Utah. There she is, Miss Utah, Brooke Anderson. She's currently attending the University of Utah as a ballet major. She works in the community to help break the cycle of domestic violence. Now there you see her in a pink Cadillac owned by Lavorne Sparks of Orem. It's a great car for a day like today. Now she's going to go to the Miss America pageant and represent the state of Utah in Atlantic City on September 1st. So she has a busy summer ahead to get ready for that.
Look at the sparkles on that dress. Where do you get sparkly dresses? You're a woman.
I wouldn't know.
The sparkly dress shop?
I'm a radio person. We don't have to do sparkly dresses.
Well, I'm a radio kind of guy. And if I got caught wearing a sparkly dress at work, I'd probably be out of work.
There would be a little bit of controversy. Here we have Orrin Hatch and his wife dressed in Western attire, just perfect for a Utah parade.
Orrin Hatch and his wife Elaine serves the citizens of Utah in the United States Senate, dealing with many important issues, including health care reform and crime legislation. Has a reputation of being one of the greatest defenders of the U.S. Constitution. Nice to have Senator Hatch and Elaine in our parade this morning. Proud parents of 6 children and 14 grandkids. Wow.
Now here is a favorite in the parade every year, the llamas from KHQN Radio in Spanish Fork. These llamas, of course, come from South America. They make great sheep guards, pack animals, and even fun pets because they're very good with children.
They don't look like they're very anxious to be here, though.
No, they're having a little trouble getting them down the street, but having no trouble getting down the street, we have some clowns and some great horseback riders.
Here's a question. Is it easier to pull a llama or push a llama?
I wouldn't know. Looks
Obviously,
like they're trying to pull them.
Maybe you don't want to be behind one. Maybe that's why there's somebody with a little wheelbarrow and shovel following the llamas.
What a job. Somebody's got to do it, though.
Of course, the public is invited to visit the herd of 40 animals at the KHQN Station Ranch. Now, I've heard of radio stations having odd things in their backyard, but never
a ranch
herd of llamas. Of course, what would the 4th of July be without chicken? Go for the gold, Kentucky Fried Chicken. This flowed out of Salt Lake City, been in here 10 some odd years. Colonel, of course, lives on in all of our chicken fantasies. Here we have the Colonel's own rotisserie gold chicken with the Olympic medals displayed along the bottom of the float. Kentucky Fried Chicken. Now KFC celebrates 42 years of serving finger-licking good chicken in Utah. Colonel Sanders would say, go for the gold, KFC's rotisserie gold chicken. They started in Utah. The very first KFC was in Utah. I had no idea.
Yes, it was. In Salt Lake City, you can see it on State Street even. They have a sign up there.
Now there are 9,000 KFC franchises worldwide.
Now you can hear those rumblings and see a few motorcycles right in back of that float, and those are members of the Harley-Davidson group. They celebrate freedom of the road.
You know, it looks like there's some people I know in there. Those are people from my radio station.
Absolutely. They're doctors, dentists, postal workers, BYU professors, businessmen, people from all walks of life.
You know, these motorcycles are not cheap, Cammie. The average cost of a Harley these days is $14,000. It's more than my car costs.
You would have to be, you know, someone in a professional sort of job in order to afford one of those.
I think the greatest pleasure for a kid is probably riding on the back of one of those Harleys in this parade today.
Absolutely.
The best seat in the house.
Yes. This is a family-oriented group, and they have a very strong belief in freedom of the road.
They've been in this parade for 3 years and keep coming back for more and more and more. This is the Central Utah Hog chapter?
Yes, it is. Yes, I mean, we've always heard that term and sort of thought that it was just sort of a slang term, but that is the official term.
They're the sponsors of a Sup for Santa family each Christmas. I'm amazed at how many people in this parade are not just here to be in the parade, but are people who are involved all year long in something. And the Harley-Davidson Central Utah Hog Chapter doing their part above and beyond.
Absolutely.
Well, you know, if you can hear what we're hearing now, I don't like this. I think we could get wet. This is engine number 1. Provo City's fire department is here, the hook and ladder. And this has been a very critical year for range and forest fires. So obviously things are under control because these boys would be out doing some of those firefighting jobs along the foothills here in Provo. They've been in the parade for 8 years. Hook is Captain Chuck Tandy. He's 15 years with the Provo Fire Department. And ladder is Captain Ken Reed. He's a 14-year veteran of the Provo Fire Department.
Now, both of these guys travel around and help educate school students and various other groups as to what to do in case of a fire and even how to prevent fires. Very important service they provide.
That's where I'd be riding back there, skateboarding behind the fire truck.
There you go. The Leo Vernon Dixieland Band. Now, there are 6 members of this band playing some great Dixieland. We've heard, you know, John Philip Sousa march music. We also need Dixieland to make our celebration complete.
Founded in September 1888.
Now, this says that that's a 1959 Ford pickup truck. Does that really look like 1959 to you?
It's in great shape.
It sure is.
Yeah. Trombone, clarinet, trumpet, what is that? Guitar and drum. If you like Dixieland, you'll like Leo Vernon's Dixieland Band. Been in the parade for 6 years. They just can't stay away.
Well, we have the Provo-Orem Chamber of Commerce group today, and they're riding in a, well, they've got a car here that's, what is that, Tom?
That car looks
Cadillac.
like a, yeah.
That is a Cadillac.
You'd expect the Provo Chamber to be riding in a Cadillac,
Yes, you
wouldn't
would.
That is Bill Fillmore, the chairman of the board of directors of the Provo-Orem Chamber of Commerce. They have been in this parade from the beginning, and driving it is Densley. Hey, there's Steve Densley, yeah.
Well, we have Meadow Gold now, and look at that wagon. They have some gorgeous horses pulling them there. The Meadow Gold folks, Bob and Bill Wright. Meadow Gold Dairies present an authentic fifth-wheel farm wagon modified to provide a traditional setting for contemporary Meadow Gold products. There they have a little bit of everything for folks who might be thirsty or wanting a little bit of ice cream today. This wagon was completely restored to look like an original milk wagon. So
Beautiful.
Back in the days of yore, when you wanted to have some milk, this is how it got to your home.
Well, that is Miss Orem waving to you from the Freedom of Growth Festival. The Orem City royalty from the city of Orem, just up the freeway a speck. They've been in this parade forever. The Miss Orem royalty is Amanda Moody, recipient of a piano performance scholarship at BYU. She is Miss Orem this year. First attendant is Emily Youd, sophomore at BYU, seeking a degree in architecture. And second attendant is Ashley McMaster. She's a senior at BYU this year. Will graduate at the age of 20 with a degree in sociology. She plans to get her PhD in medical sociology, and she could do that by the age of 23.
Boy, she's
Real
a
smart.
hard worker.
Beautiful float, too.
Now, Orem City is getting to participate in the Freedom Festival activities in a new way this year with, of course, the picnic in the park this afternoon.
All afternoon from 1 o'clock until 10:15 tonight when they have live fireworks again. So there's plenty of things to do all day. There's clowns and entertainment all afternoon at the Orem City Park.
And from Orem, we have the Mountain View High School Marching Band. The two numbers they performed today are John Philip Sousa's Washington Post and Wipeout.
Making the cheerleaders work extra hard today.
They sure
Bringing
are.
up the rear, doing handsprings, cartwheels. That's the kind of stuff I could never do.
I understand.
Soccer, the greatest sport on earth. And if you've been watching the World Cup Soccer Championships all over the country this summer, you know how exciting that game can be. The Mountain View Soccer Association from Orem, Utah. Red, gold, and blue, decorated to represent Utah's participation in soccer. There's a lot of soccer balls on that float, too. Riding on the float are approximately 30 soccer-playing youths ages 10 through 18 from Utah County. It shows its obvious support of World Cup soccer by the number of flags from the various countries from around the world. World Cup, of course, has come to the United States for the first time this summer. It's the most popular and most participated in sport on earth, despite the fact that we're swimming to football and basketball here.
Absolutely.
Not so in other countries.
They're hoping to change all that in the United States, and so maybe this group can do it for us. Lots of enthusiasm for soccer. That's great. Now here we have what is called a beautiful education. The Bonlosi Academy, this is their first year in the festival, and we have students from the Bonlosi Academy who are trained and licensed in 1 year, and probably when you go to get a makeover or a haircut, you may be working with someone who has gotten their training at Bonlosi. Students displaying some very interesting and unusual hairstyles, showing a lot of creativity today.
Suppose if I ran over there, they'd give me a free haircut.
They could probably do that for you. Demonstration quickly and maybe even for free. I'd give it a shot.
That is the key operative word there. Free haircut from Bonlosi, a full-service salon here in Utah County, Cotton Tree Square.
Here we have Senator Robert F. Bennett and his wife Joyce riding in the parade today. Senator Bennett serves on 5 committees, including the Senate Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs, the Energy and Natural Resources, Joint Economic Committee, the Governmental Affairs Committee, and the Senate Small Business Committee.
And of course, he's wearing a hat.
Good idea. And
BYU.
a BYU hat, no less. That's
There you go.
Good idea when you're in this town. Now, before he was elected to the Senate, he worked at Franklin Quest. He's also worked in several different capacities in public service.
Well, right behind Senator Bob Bennett, it's called Freedom. This is the Rock Canyon Assembly of God Church out in Provo, Utah. First time in the parade this year, but they are playing up a storm. This band consists of 4 to 8 individuals. I'm seeing more like 9 or 10 up there at the moment. All members of their congregation. They're a gospel band playing musical selections dealing with freedom in Christ. Reverend Dean L. Jackson is the pastor of this church. He and his wife, Marlise, have 2 children. This year marks the 50th anniversary of the Assembly of God Church in Provo. The Rock Canyon Assembly of God Church is one of over 150,000 throughout the world.
And now celebrating Homes to Welcome the World, it's the Ernst entry. Homes to Welcome the World. We have some Ernst employees there ready to answer your questions. Now this float is representing a new Ernst store with homes of different architectural styles from around the world. You can sort of pick out the grass hut and the Chinese pagoda.
Pretty fancy float. I think maybe Ernst could be your float center too.
Yes, they could.
Ernst Home Centers, always a nice relief for those of us who aren't very handy around the house.
Absolutely.
These are the Utah County Commissioners. Malcolm Beck, Gary Herbert, Richard Johnson, riding around in their little antique something.
Yeah, it's hard to tell what that is.
Little bus there.
Yeah, it's really cute, but it's real hard to tell what that is. Now, it's owned by someone who's been donating lots of cars for use in the Freedom Festival Parade, Lavorne Sparks. Thanks for letting us use that entire fleet for this whole thing.
Utah County Sheriff's Posse in front of you now. They get involved, whether it be search and rescue operations in the county. They're under the direction and jurisdiction of the sheriff and are on 24-hour call. Riding some pretty fancy horses, too.
Yes, they've been around since 1951.
They're made up of married couples as well as singles in the posse. They're always looking for new members who love horses, so if you've got a horse and you've got some spare time for a 4th of July parade every once in a while, they'd like to have you.
Now, along with horses, they also have a pickup truck carrying, well, a little playhouse that you can win.
Wow.
So get in touch with the Utah County Sheriff's Office and talk to them about the Posse's Playhouse that they're giving away.
That's bigger than the house I live in. Yeah, I want to win that.
That's a pretty good size, isn't it?
Of course, there's the scoopers there behind them. Well, coming up, This is the Adams Bike Shop float. No, there goes my house. Nice porch. You could set a couple of chairs out there.
Great activity for the 4th of July.
That's right. And there's another one of our fair-skinned parade participants today.
Yes. Someone who wants to sit on that porch, probably.
All right, here's the Adams Trail of Bike entry at Orem Schwinn.
Well, look at that bike. Now, there's a new twist on the bicycle built for two. You can have a little short rider with you.
I like that.
Tonight on KBYU, the patriotic celebration continues with A More Perfect Union. America Becomes a Nation, beginning at 9 p.m. Right after this special, there's going to be a rebroadcast of the Freedom Festival Parade beginning at 11. So if there's anything you missed or want to see again, you can join us at 11 o'clock tonight on Channel 11.
Well, happy 4th of July to all of you. Cammie Dixon, I am Tom Bach, and we're at the Freedom Festival Parade, the 1994 edition, getting set to look down the street at more of this parade. We're about halfway through. There's over 100 entries in this year's parade. I think that's a little larger than most years.
Absolutely. It's increasing all the time, and it's getting better and better every year. 100 years ago this year, Nikita Khrushchev was born in the Ukraine, and Kipling wrote his popular collection of stories about the Indian boy Mowgli called The Jungle Book, famous book that we know and love, written 100 years ago this year.
What would be your guess? How many thousand people are here lining the streets?
Boy, this is really tough to
parade?
say, because there's about a 7-mile course here, and the streets are absolutely packed.
Every year, it's 13, 14 people deep, even in the heat of the sunshine. As you can see in these wide shots we take of the street, people come out in force to celebrate the 4th of July and to really get into the spirit of what this parade is all about. This is the Genola City royalty.
Now, they're part of the Genola Buckaroo Rodeo, and that's the reason for them being on horses rather than on a float like the rest of the royalty is. The Queen is Mayvana Curtis, first attendant Charlotte Lewis, and second attendant is Lexi Jacobson. Some great horsemanship today.
We'd like to thank New Skin International for making our broadcast this morning possible here on KBYU, Utah's family station. Well, I'll tell you, there are some families out there today.
Smokey Bear, famous guy here today at the parade, and he's here with the USDA Forest Service. Of course, their mascots, Smokey Bear and Woodsy Owl, are accompanied by children of the Forest Service employees. They probably know how to prevent forest fires.
This float is commemorating Smokey Bear's 50th anniversary. He's 50. Still needs to go on a diet. I checked out his pants, and he wears a size 63 jeans.
Does he really?
He does. Depicted on this float is a camping scene and a birthday cake for Smoke. 2 to 4 equestrian rides are flanking this float. Because of the threat of fires in this dry heat, remember that the Forest Service has declared fire closures for open fires throughout the entire state of Utah, except in designated campground areas. So as you celebrate the 4th of July, do it very sensibly and prevent forest fires.
Yes, and hopefully we won't need these folks, the disaster services from American Red Cross today. They've been in the festival parade for 3 years, and they've actually been in existence for over 100 years. They've been, of course, helping people affected by disasters, relief made possible by volunteers and financial support from the American public. What we're seeing there is a couple of employees, a couple of folks who volunteer their time for American Red Cross and their disaster services van.
The Red Cross taught me how to swim.
Very good.
That's another one
so
of
they
the...
probably saved your life,
well,
inadvertently, right?
They taught me how, yes. Before I drowned, they taught me how to swim in advance. But
there you go.
One of the many ways the American Red Cross helps make life better for a lot of people. Some more noise here.
The West High School Marching Band. These are the West High School Panthers, and dressed appropriately in black and white with a little bit of red there as well. The music that they're going to be playing through the parade today is Strike Up the Band, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, Star Spangled Banner, and God Bless America. So we'll take a listen here and figure out which one of those pieces they're working on now. You know, this band has been around for over 103 years. Been practicing a long time.
Well, West High School is one of the oldest high schools in Salt Lake City. They've added new additions onto the school. The student body continues to fluctuate up and down depending on the year. But They are traditionally part of the Days of 47 parade that you'll see later on this month.
Yes, and they are the last marching band in Salt Lake School District.
Well, Congressman and Mrs. Bill Orton, I say Mrs.
Yes,
Bill Orton.
the new Mrs. Bill Orton. It's wonderful.
The good congressman was married Saturday night, and Rob is right there with the glorious newlyweds.
It's all a hoax. It's not really a July 4th parade. It's here for your new announcement.
Oh, thank you very much. Very pleased to be here. I can't think of a better place to be on a honeymoon.
Exactly. Now, you were married on Saturday.
Yes.
And you care to introduce your new wife?
This is Jacqueline. We call her Jack, J-A-C-Q, not J-A-C-K. There's a difference.
Well, what do you think of all this?
Oh, I think it's great. Everyone's so nice, and everyone's been so friendly. I feel like it's our personal parade, so.
Exactly, it is. Well, congratulations, and have a happy honeymoon.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
We'll see y'all when we get back.
Good, good.
The greatest place on earth to spend a honeymoon. Now, wait a minute, Bill. Jacqueline Massey. They were married at 11 a.m. What day was it? Saturday.
On Saturday.
At a private ceremony near Sundance. I want you all to know that there is a reception for the Ortons tonight between 6:30 and 7:30 at the southeast lawn of the State Capitol building in Salt Lake City, and the public is invited. Honeymoon plans, they're gonna head to Hawaii and take an Alaskan fishing trip. The Ortons will have homes in Sundance and also in Washington, D.C.
Now here's a traditional favorite, the Clyde Edwards Mule Team. These mules are world champion model halter mules.
How big they are.
They're very big. You wouldn't think that mules were that large. They dominate the halter mule events all over Utah, sweeping up awards everywhere they go. They're top finishers in competitions held at the Utah State Fair also.
They're all ears. Look at that.
They're demonstrating their figure eights today.
Good
and
mules.
Doing very well.
You're doing very nicely, guys.
Now, see, people always say, you know, stubborn as a mule. They're participating much better than the llamas were.
They're told just follow the feet in front of you, okay? Our next float has got some beautiful young ladies on it. Strawberry Days, the best of times from Pleasant Grove, Utah. This is the Strawberry Days royalty. They have been in this parade forever, 25 plus years. Tamara Worthington is the Strawberry Days queen this year. She's waving to her. First attendant is Racheline Jasper. Second attendant is Sandra Anderson, and Roxanne Crosby fills the seat as third attendant this year. It's 40 feet long, 3 large butterflies in flight, a large white gazebo with accented colors of purple, gold, silver, and pink. Marigolds.
And accompanying the Pleasant Grove royalty today is the marching band from Pleasant Grove High School. About 100 students in this marching band in color guard together under the direction of Vince Burgoyne. They're favoring us with John Philip Sousa today. Of course, John Philip Sousa being a very important part of American history. He was even a band member himself and a concertmaster for an orchestra.
School colors are obviously white and blue. Maybe some red mixed in there for the 4th of July.
Yeah, a little bit there. Pleasant Grove High School marching band has placed in every competition during the past 3 years. Hear from John Philip Sousa strings there in the background. There we go.
You know, Cammie, if I had to pick a favorite in a parade, I think it's always the bands for me.
Absolutely.
And there's always that thought in the back of my mind, I wish I could continue those music lessons.
Yes. Well, I got to play in a marching band. I was a percussionist. That's the most fun job in a marching band.
I think the most difficult is the tuba. You know,
Can you imagine walking 7 miles carrying that thing?
Yeah.
And then the air capacity that's required in order to even play it.
Can't get enough tuba music myself.
Yes, I know. Here's the Wave of the Future, Care for the Earth. The National Park Service sponsoring this entry today. These are young participants in the Junior Ranger program, along with uniformed park rangers. The young rangers and park rangers are riding in this Park Service Bronco here. They provide hikes, cave tours, educational programs for children and adults, and they're also involved in scientific research and law enforcement, helping us figure out how to keep this a great place to be.
And you know, on a hot summer day, being that one of the sponsors of that entry is the Timpanogos Cave National Monument, might be something the family hasn't done in a while or maybe never done. Timpanogos Cave is up American Fort Canyon?
American Fort Canyon.
Yeah.
It's very close if you're in Utah County. It's or even Salt Lake County. It wouldn't be very hard to drive down for the day and take a climb up to Timpanogos Cave and have an incredible view.
It's cool inside, too.
Well, we have a great view right now, Lehigh City royalty.
First time in many years they've been in this parade. Let's see, the Queen. Oh, she's the one. She always is the one that's the highest. Okay, that's Jennifer Sperry back there. Christina Bryson, first attendant. Elizabeth Ellis is second attendant.
There's a beautiful float that represents the secret garden of book and movie fame in the last year. It's decorated with rock arches, pillars, a white picket fence, and some gorgeous flowers. Purple and green and white. A little bit of burgundy as well, with the royalty dressed in white.
You know, I've always wondered what kind of vehicle is underneath that. Have you ever seen what's underneath a float?
No, I've never seen that. And you know,
I've always
these
wondered.
are now being called self-propelled floats because they don't have the traditional car. You
I
know.
think there's little midget people under there.
Yeah, when I was a little kid, they had
Little
had
sneakers?
cars that had to pull it, and that was sort of, you know, ghastly looking. But yeah, they could have midget power under there, or maybe even be breaking some child labor laws.
I think I'm going to peek when the parade is over.
Okay.
What you hear in the background is the Lehigh Marching Band, the Lehigh High School Marching Band, who've been around in this parade for 7 some odd years. 75 members strong. The band leader is Carl Dastrup. The band is playing music of Armed Forces on Parade and the March of the Irish Guard. Let's take a listen.
With the wheelbarrow.
That's the most important job, Cammie, in the entire parade.
That must mean that there will be horses nearby.
Or there have been horses who have passed through. Everybody's got a big smile on their face. Everybody's going to be a little redder on the other side of the street here when the parade is over.
Absolutely.
They use their sunscreen. In front of you is Mrs. Utah, or Mrs. Utah United States, Bobby Gardiner. First year in this parade, Mrs. Utah United States is married to Wayne Gardner. And she's a full-time mother to her 16-year-old daughter, Holly, and her 13-year-old son, Davis. She's a third-grade teacher in the Salt Lake School District. Her goals as Mrs. Utah United States are to help strengthen Utah's children and their parents.
And she's gathered 10,000 pledges from children to say no to drugs, a cause that she's working very hard for. And these pledges are going to be delivered to President Clinton. They'll probably go a long way to helping support that.
Well, who is this?
Now, we have Salt Lake Community College, members of the Student Association here in the parade today in a great-looking carriage. That looks like fun to ride around in.
I don't think that was the president of the college, though.
No, we had just members of the Student Association. They've been around since 1948, Salt Lake Community College, serving lots of folks who want to work on their college education. That's actually an Amish carriage from the Midwest United States.
Beautiful. Up next, if you've ever been in Midway, Utah over Labor Day, the Swiss Day celebration goes on there. Midway Boosters have sponsored this float with the Swiss Miss royalty. They've been in this parade for 10 some odd years. Mayor's Award winner. Swiss Miss this year is Darcy Downs. First attendant is Christy Whiting, and other attendants are Kristen Hales, Jenia Salazar, and Laurel Van Leulen. Swiss Miss royalty is chosen through a pageant of girls ages 8 through 12, and that's, of course, a beautiful float depicting the Swiss Alps. Labor Day weekend and Swiss Days. Get on up there, September 2nd through 3rd. It's fun.
And more jazz, Dixieland Jazz. We have the Eastern Arts Jazz Band here today, along with a couple of ladies that look like they came from New Orleans.
Was in New Orleans about 3 weeks ago. These guys look like they walked all the way from New Orleans.
Yes, they did. They're having a great time, and they're good dancers, too.
Must be Doc Miller out there on the clarinet.
Yeah, the band is led by Southern Belle, Catherine St. John, who's director of the Eastern Arts International Dance Theater. And they're playing, of course, some traditional early New Orleans jazz. They're a nonprofit arts organization which presents music and dance of many countries. So today they're showing us their jazz.
Waves of Laughter is the title of this float. Sundance Summer Theater up Provo Canyon at Robert Redford's Sundance Resort. Been in this Freedom Festival parade for many years, and of course a delightful way to spend a summer evening seeing one of their theatrical endeavors up there. Members of the acting ensemble from the Sundance Children's Theater production of Phoebe's Closet, Oklahoma, and Take Me Along, this summer's productions at Sundance, are walking next to and in front of this antique fire engine. The Sundance Summer Theater performs Monday through Saturday through September 3rd.
They have some great facilities up there after undergoing some remodeling in the last couple of years. So they have children's theater and things for the parents as well. It's going to be lots of fun this summer. They just barely opened last week, didn't they?
Yeah, who knows, you may catch a glimpse of Robert Redford himself.
Yes.
It's always possible.
We're catching a glimpse now of Marley Meyer, who is leading the Utah Arabian Horse Club. The riders are dressed, well, like they're ready for the hot weather today on these beautiful Arabian horses.
What would a parade be without gorgeous horses? Well, this is the Freedom Award winner in our parade this morning. Wave of Service is the name of this float from the Provo Seventh-day Adventist Church. They've been in the parade for 4 years now. Members of the Seventh-day Adventist Church are demonstrating different aspects of the church in service. The Seventh-day Adventists serve the Provo community through Pathfinders, which is a coeducational scouting program, community service consisting of disaster relief, sharing holiday fruit baskets, supplying quilts for young mothers, and the Provo Seventh-day Adventist Elementary School, the oldest Protestant elementary school in the valley. Obviously, they're very busy.
Of course, red, white, and blue, traditional Independence Day colors there. You know, the first flags on American soil were the banners of England and St. Mark, flown in 1497 by John Cabot. We see some flags here and some folks from Payson High School, their marching band, with an unusual entry. This is not something we always hear in a marching band. Of course, the bagpipes. 60 students making up this British-style band.
I love bagpipe music. Now, there's an instrument that doesn't look easy to play.
No. Take a great amount of control.
Minstrel Boy, the Barren Rocks of Hayden and Scotland. Great. Some of the musical selections that parade goers will be able to hear today.
Of course, you're now followed by the Payson City royalty. Miss Payson this year is Amy Jacobson. She's the queen for Payson City. First attendant is Natalie Nilsson, and Stephanie Tuttle is the second attendant this year. Now, this float is about 24 feet by 10 feet. And it has a garden look about it with a gazebo in the center with white, green, and gold. Now, they've been in the Freedom Festival Parade for over 10 years. They must be having a good time.
They must like coming back. Is she a tall drink of water or what?
Absolutely.
Look,
No,
she is.
She's not standing on any sort of stool there.
That is Amy Jacobson, the Miss Payson royalty. Beautiful float, beautiful girls. Bike Aid is the name of our next entry, AIDS Coalition of Utah County. Of course, people involved, the Bike Aid riders, are from all age groups, ethnicities, occupations, and degrees of cycling experience. These Bike Aid riders began their trek in Washington, D.C. and San Francisco, or to Washington, D.C. rather, in San Francisco on June 10th. They're from all over the United States and from several foreign countries. Bike Aid 94 is the 9th annual cross-country bike race sponsored by the Overseas Development Network. It is pedaling from coast to coast this summer to raise funds for community development and AIDS education projects worldwide.
Here on the street, and they're coming from all over. They're even Orem, believe it or not. This gang, the middle-aged gang, they're here from Orem. What do you guys think of the parade?
Oh, it's awesome.
It's the best.
Now, what is your most favorite float?
Probably the Queens, all from Payson.
Yep, they're a lot of fun, and there's a lot more fun to keep going. So back to you, Cammie and Tom.
Thank you. Now, looking like something out of a Dickens novel, we have the Berg Mortuary carriage. They've been in the Freedom Festival for quite some time. This is an authentic horse-drawn funeral coach. Hopefully no one will have to use that today.
Hopefully.
Now, this is the original coach that was actually in use by Berg Mortuary, and it's even been used recently.
Well, in front of you now are the Red Coyote Outfitters from Provo, Utah. This is a horse-drawn buggy from the early 1800s. Red Coyote Outfitters has expanded its line to include Western wear and lingerie. Western wear and lingerie.
There's a combination.
That's a great combination.
Miss Teen, Utah. Heather Henderson here riding in a white convertible. She's a recent graduate of Provo High School, and she was a high school cheerleader, involved in student government, and was an AP honors student, taking some very difficult courses there. She's going to be representing Utah in the Miss Teen USA pageant on August 16th in Biloxi, Mississippi.
Well, we're ready for a little more noise. The Orem High School Marching Band now from Orem, Utah. They've been in this parade for several years, 120 strong. And they are marching. Paul Lehman is their band director. The band is playing from Orem City's school song, Roar for Orem High, written by Clyde D. Sangren. They're also playing a march by Sousa as they go along, Fairest of the Fair. School colors are blue and gold, and of course, taking many honors throughout the state of Utah, the Orem High School Marching Band.
Miles down from the starting point of this parade, but they probably have 5 or 6 more miles to go, and it's not getting any cooler out here, although it is a gorgeous day for whatever you have planned. Orem High School Band.
Our thanks, of course, to New Skin International for helping provide the funding for today's broadcast of this 1994 Freedom Festival parade from Center Street University down here in Provo. Boy, well, we're in a good place because we're by the Academy Theater in the shade.
Blocking all of that sunshine. Now out here in the sunshine is the Linden City Little Miss Linden Royalty. These girls are Rebecca McClellan, who is the queen this year. First attendant, Rebecca Marchbanks. Carrie Jo Schwartz is the second attendant. Third attendant is Celeste Roberts. Ashley Buswell is the fourth attendant, and they are doing that parade wave very well.
Yeah. She was waving at me, and I was waving at her. She's looking at me like he is a real meatball. What is he doing?
Well, they're a little bit protected there in their gazebo.
Well, Frontier Pies Restaurants are with us this morning. Great place to eat, and a pretty good-looking wagon there. If you ever wondered how it was to cross those wild and hairy plains of the Midwest in a covered wagon, something like this was probably what the pioneers used. Bill Wright is the driver and the owner of the horses. This is a Conestoga covered wagon pulled by a matching set of Belgian draft horses. Boy, they're beautiful. Look at this.
Boy, those are gorgeous.
Yeah, it's amazing. Frontier Pies has participated in BYU Cougar Club activities and has donated time and pies to schools and charitable organizations.
Now we have a little entry that will help you appreciate moving. If you've ever had to move, you can be glad that you didn't have to use one of these. This would be tough. This moving van is an authentic moving van from the Mallerup Moving and Storage Company. They've been in the festival for a very long time. The driver's Kent Anderson from Linden. This was made about the turn of the century, and well, they used these before streets were paved.
Wow. They're still not in my neighborhood. And the horses pulling the wagon are a team of Royal Clydesdales. Those are beautiful horses, big. Coming up, this is the Judges Special Award entry in this year's Freedom Festival Parade, the Miss Spanish Fork Royalty. There she is, isn't she pretty? Been in the parade for 13 some odd years. That's Cammie Mortensen, the Spanish Fork Queen. Her first attendant is Christine Melander. Second attendant is Amy Anderson. The float sports a beautiful peacock done in metallic teals and blues. The royalty presides over Fiesta Days in Spanish Fork that's coming up later this month, over the days of 47th, the 23rd, 4th, and 5th. Everyone's invited. There's something there for everybody. Big smiles. I like that.
Do you think your jaw would get tired?
No, I've heard that beauty queens put Vaseline on their teeth to smile.
Really?
That's
a little tip.
Maybe just
you
rumor.
learn something new every day. And
Every
we can hear the Spanish Fork High School marching band coming up and back, and there they are.
First time in this parade in a few years.
Very good. Good to have them here today. They are playing actually a little bit of Beach Boys music. They've decided not to opt for John Philip Sousa today, but they are playing a Spanish march titled Caliente.
Caliente. Should be Caliente.
Yes. Now, they've performed at Disneyland and Magic Mountain just this year. Great trip for them. They've been invited to perform at the Holiday Bowl Parade in December. One of the exciting KBYU TV community events coming up is the Be Kind to Humankind Festival, August 6th at the BYU Marriott Center in Provo.
You know, Cammie, that festival will include storytelling and crafts, children's booths, performances that reinforce being kind to humankind, and a finale performance by a special guest. Guess who?
You'll never guess. Well, you will guess. It's Barney. It's Barney, the lovable purple dinosaur of Barney and Friends. He's going to be there for a 20-minute sing-along.
Now, in addition to the festival festivities, KBYU will be accepting donations of food, clothes, toys, books, and other needed items for the Family Support and Treatment Center Nursery at the Marriott Center. Donations will be taken to the BYU offices or can be taken there or to any branch of America First Credit Union until August 6th.
And KBYU TV is also looking for volunteers who will help with the outside activities and children's booths on the day of the festival. There are 2 festival presentation times. It's going to be 10 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. You can contact the KBYU TV offices to sign up.
Okay, admission prices to Be Kind to Humankind, $3 for children 2 to 12, $5 for ages 12 and older. Tickets go on sale July 11th at the Marriott Center ticket office.
Now reminding us of our hard-earned freedom, our members of the Utah Military Vehicle Club. These are some older vehicles that probably aren't in use anymore, just on display today. They include an M3A1 Scout car, a 1943 Dodge weapons carrier, a 1942 Ford Jeep, and a 1944 GMC 2.5-ton truck.
You know, Cammie, if you had one of those during drive time on the freeway, you would probably fear no other vehicle.
Absolutely. We wouldn't even need to have, you know, any of those freeway shooting horrible accidents. We'd just
ahead.
run over everyone.
Change lanes and don't signal.
That's right.
I'll take care of it.
That's right.
Well, dreaming of a very bright future. This is our next entry, Provo City's PTA and the Provo City School Foundation, their first year in our parade this morning. Children from each of 18 schools in the Provo School District are represented here. The PTA, as you know, is a national organization concerned with children and education. There are over 3,600 members of the PTA right here in the Provo School District alone. The teddy bear on this float is 20, let me get my tape measure out, 21 feet long.
Boy.
Yeah, and the PTA provides many of the needed resources and volunteers that benefit each school in the district. The quilt on the float was made by each of the 18 schools in the Provo district. It will be given to the superintendent after today's parade.
That's
what a nice
terrific.
gift.
Absolutely. Provo PTA does a lot of work each year, and have to say I'm a member of the Provo PTA myself. Those kids are having a great time on the float today, getting a little bit of sun, but they're representing all of the things that they could probably be when they grow up, thanks to help from the Provo School District and the PTA. Here we have Miss Santaquin City royalty from Santaquin, Utah. The Miss Santaquin this year is Rachel Smith. Her first attendant is Marilee Sellers. Rachel Olson is the second attendant, and Trinity Cope is the third attendant. They're riding a float today that's approximately 11 by 20 feet, displaying an Indian headdress with multicolored feathers. So from the back there, we got a little bit of a shot there that makes it look a little bit like the Thanksgiving turkey. But there you go. There are the beautiful colors on this Indian headdress with the Miss Santaquin City royalty.
This float shows the ascension of leadership and...
Beautiful day for a parade. The Provo Freedom Festival Parade is what you're watching. And of course, this float that you're seeing now celebrating America's families.
We have the Wasatch County royalty coming here following Miss Santaquin. Lots of beauty queens all in a row here. Wasatch County has been in the parade for 3 years now. Miss Wasatch is Camion Gordon. Talitha Hathaway is the first attendant, and Amy Banks, the second attendant this year. Purple, white, and gold.
Of course, when you're saying Wasatch County, you're saying where is that? Well, Midway is there,
yes.
and Heber City
Heber,
is there. This
Wallsburg, all
regal
those
carriage
areas.
for Miss Wasatch and her attendants is a canopy of gold, which focuses your attention, of course, on the Queen. Beautiful bouquets of flowers and shades of purple and lavender are at her feet. Beautiful Heber Valley invites you to get on up there and share their county fair, which happens during Heber Valley Days, August 6th through 13th.
And celebrating Perfect Harmony, this is the Perfect Harmony Family Entertainment Troupe. Now they're stationed in Orem. They're a family-oriented troupe with all members of the Harward family of Orem, Utah. members of the Provo School District here. Following not far behind the Provo PTA. Both of them working together to make Provo a great place to get an education. Looks like a little bit of a twist on the Little Red Schoolhouse. It's white with red, a couple of red bricks here and there.
The Independence Award entry. Well, who's up next here?
It's a giant tow truck. Now, this is one of those great tow trucks that only requires one person in order to load up the car.
Larry's Towing, it says on the front. That's good to know.
And this is the Perfect Harmony group. We're going to be hearing a little bit of music here provided by the Harward family, very talented family to have everyone there able to perform. They work real hard to provide entertainment for all kinds of people. Wholesome entertainment is what they're interested in.
You know, I'm amazed to see how many talented families there are in the state of Utah. And of course, Perfect Harmony, entertainment for all ages, emphasizes the fact that you don't have to pull in strangers to get a little group together. You can always do that with everybody there in your family.
Absolutely.
And smile even if Dad can't sing.
Sure.
Clowns and happy faces and sunburned noses. Cammie Dixon and Tom Bach on University Avenue for our 1994 Freedom Festival Parade. Our next entry is Utah Opera from Salt Lake City, the Freedom to Sing. Utah Opera, of course, chorus members are on the float. Are you into opera? Do you enjoy opera?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And Utah Opera, it sells out every year. They do an incredible job. And if you want to see an opera, go see it at Utah Opera. They're at the Capitol Theater, and their season's going to be starting in the fall.
This float depicts a scene from the opera Aida. And it's almost 18 and a half feet wide and 14 feet tall. Dazzling sights and gorgeous sounds translated with English subtitles. Affordable tickets. This is your season to try out Utah Opera.
So if you don't understand foreign languages, you can go there. They'll have it all in English for you up on the ceiling, and it's a great opportunity. It's lots of fun.
Well, don't miss Aida either, an extraordinary event which epitomizes all of the pageantry, grandeur, and beauty of opera. The 94-95 season opens with Aida.
What better to follow Utah Opera than a string section? We have the VIP strings performing here today. 30 children playing string instruments on this trailer here, dressed in great red, white, and blue outfits. Now, this is a group that started in Ogden 25 years ago. Some of the music they're playing includes Yankee Doodle Dandy, America the Beautiful, My Country 'Tis of Thee, and, of course, fiddler tunes. What would we do without fiddler tunes?
They're a nonprofit organization to promote music education and provide opportunities to learn musical skills. Doesn't look like those kids are much over 8, 10 years old.
Boy, some of them look even younger than that. They're starting early, which is very good.
Well, I think everyone has looked forward to seeing this vehicle here. Right behind the VIP strings is, I believe that's one of those new Humvees, one of those family vehicles.
Yes.
This is Battery C 1st Battalion 140th Field Artillery, the Utah Armed National Guard out of Spanish Fork. First year in this parade, but these pieces of equipment are a prime mover pulling an N198 howitzer and an M998 Hummer. There it is, the Humvee.
And these guys were actually over in the Gulf during Desert Storm.
This unit won the Army Community of Excellence Award in March of this year. They're always looking for volunteers. Give them a call, the Utah Armed National Guard in Spanish Fork.
Now their sign says, it doesn't say Uncle Sam wants you or anything like that. It's let the animal in you join us. Which you would have to be if you, it's a lot of hard work.
But how much fun can you have?
Absolutely.
Starting to warm up here on University Avenue. I think the temperatures today are supposed to be cooler than the last few days. Temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. No rain is forecast. A beautiful blue sky, an art show, an art festival going on here in downtown Provo after the parade today, as well as an all-day picnic in the park in Orem City Park, culminating with fireworks tonight at 10:15.
There'll be lots of fun things. And, of course, the Arts Festival today in downtown Provo. Well, here's the Festival Award for Best Freedom Festival Presentation for American Fork City royalty. Now, on top of this float today is Queen Jill Wilson and first attendant Kimberly Gleave.
Float is decorated with red, white, and blue. Queen is wearing a red dress, and the attendant is wearing white.
And there's another attendant as well. Poor thing doesn't get to have her
Wearing
name
gold.
mentioned. Yes. Now they look all ready for a party there with party hats and little whirly gigs. Looks like lots
Whirly
of fun.
gigs. Is that what those are? I've
Sure.
always wondered what those were, even when I was a kid.
Whatchamacallit. They're just whatever we want them to be
Zips
today.
around in the wind anyway.
And as the American Fork City royalty passes by, we get ready to hear the American Fork High School Marching Band. They've been part of the Provo Freedom Festival parade from the very beginning. It's great to have them here again.
Not a small band either,
No,
Tammy.
190 members, in fact.
John Miller is the band director.
They always place well in competitions every year, and they're consistent winners. They performed on national television last year, so this is kind of small potatoes for them here today. They were also at the Fiesta Bowl National Band Pageant.
They were undefeated in the Utah State competitions last year. By the way, there is a drum and bugle corps competition this month, July 25th at Weber State University, where some of the drum and bugle corps compete in the Western Regional Finals. And you'll want to call Weber State University for information and tickets.
Sounds like fun.
Awfully invigorating to see those bands play.
So if you want the feel of a parade a little later on, you can go and enjoy the sounds of the great bands there.
Well, lock them up for kids' sake. This is the National Security Safe Company float. They're out of American Fork. This is their first year in the parade. The trailer's decorated with several different safes, from the smallest to the largest gun, home, and office safes. It has gold mylar fringe and American flags. These safes are 100% American-made, by the way. Kind of the ones you'll see in movies every once in a while from the Old West. The company's been in Utah for 8 years, and this is the world's finest gun safe. Their motto is lock them up for kids' sake. So that's where the guns go. If you're going to have guns in your household, lock them up so there's no accidents.
Those are actually very nice looking.
They are beautiful.
Nice piece of furniture for your home, and will also keep you safe as well. Now we have, in a great looking boat, that's sure would be fun to use today, Boyer's Car Audio and SS Marine joining together to present Presidents Past and Present. They're representations of Presidents Washington, Lincoln, Nixon, Reagan, and Bush. See if you can identify them there.
Well, I see Nixon, and I see Bush, and I see one of the Ninja Turtles.
One of the
Where
Ninja
did he
Turtles
fit
is,
in?
we're not quite sure. Hate to say.
Move over, Bill Clinton. The next president will be a turtle.
The Boyers Sound Band is pulling this Four Winds boat from SS Marine. The past presidents are being protected, of course, by Secret Service agents. There we go. The ninja guy is the Secret Service agent.
Got it, got it.
The sound system is including an Alpine 3-disc shuttle, 6 Phoenix Gold amplifiers producing 1,600 watts through 36 speakers. And we have Freedom Auto Cosmetics. Their motto is "Dead Cars Brought to Life." KWJJ, a very new station on the radio dial, playing country music, riding in a great-looking antique car today. Making themselves known with actually not very much talk. Now that looks like fun.
We are
Wonder where they stole that car. Those guys don't make enough money for anything near that nice.
Yes, actually, you know some of them.
I do. Michael O'Brien, Rob Reeson is driving the car. That is Phil Reeson's son.
Oh, that's great.
Well, coming up, anti-graffiti. They had a theme behind this, the Graffiti Busters.
Well, those will be coming up, and that's something to look forward to. Creative games and promotions. We have, if you're into paintball games and sumo suit rentals, have you ever wanted to be a sumo wrestler, Tom?
Never.
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 Well, if anybody ever wanted to live that experience, you can do that. You can put on one of those sumo wrestler costumes and have at it.
Oh, that does look like fun.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I think I'll do that after the parade. Where do
You're
you think I can
looking for a great
squeeze
activity?
into?
Probably by calling creative games.
All right, here's the Graffiti Busters. These guys help the Provo City Police Department and Orem Departments of Public Safety with wiping out graffiti. Graffiti exterminators. These are like the Ghostbusters of graffiti.
Sure.
There are 5 young people in the vehicle representing the many nationalities in the Utah County area, including American Indian, Spanish, White, Polynesian, Oriental. The new graffiti van is used to clean up vandalism in Provo and Orem. That big tank contains the cleansers that they use to speed clean graffiti off public places. Offenders or volunteers go out and do the work to keep the cities clean. And that's a good endeavor.
And another marching band, the Uinta High School Marching Band, is here today with 50 members strong. Now they're very unique because they have the only summer marching program in the northeast section of the state of Utah. So they'll be working hard all summer long, and we get to hear a little bit of what they've been working on up until now. Joined by the color guard as well. You can see them marching in back there. Folks from Uinta High School. They're directed today by Lynna Kendall.
They don't look like they're having such a great time. And they don't know they're only halfway through the parade route yet.
That's right.
Coming up, Ballroom Dance, a wave of freedom, cultural enlightenment for the future. Utah Valley State College Ballroom Dance Company. Ballroom dancing, you know, I'll tell you what, that is a skill. I've seen the BYU ballroom dancers during the Clog Festival. They brought in some ballroom dancers and some jazz dancers. I love the dance form as an art, and there are 25 members of this dance troupe represented in the parade today. The dancers are in costumes representing modern dance and 3 Latin dances. Dance is life set to music. It provides students the opportunity to improve talent and travel both nationally and internationally.
Now that certainly takes some coordination, which I don't have. Looks like they're doing a great job there. Well, we have Old Number 1, owned by the Hopkinson family from Provo, Utah. This is the first motor-driven fire engine, a 1917 American LaFrance. Sounds like a joint venture, sort of like the Statue of Liberty and the tunnel, yes. This fire engine was originally purchased by a citizen of Provo and donated to the city.
And look, the Dalmatian up there wearing a hat.
Of course. I wonder how long that would take to get to your home if you had a fire. And would it get there in time?
I don't know, but doing the siren looks like fun.
Yeah, it does.
Just to crank that little guy on.
Some kids. 19,000 miles of wheelchair all the way across America. Raised almost $5 million.
Our next entry is Wheelchairs Across America. These wheelchairs allow these gentlemen and many more like them to experience being terrific athletes. And of course, they raise a lot of money for charity causes throughout the United States, wherever they go.
There were a few members of the group who were participating in the 10K race at the beginning of the day. So they have a lot of exercise today here by the time they do the 10K and the parade. Well, this has been lots of fun here today.
That's it?
This, yes.
I was just getting going. I wanted to do more.
Well, the sun is out, the sun's shining on us, so that means it's time to go.
Well, before we leave you this morning, we would like to thank all the people who helped bring you this parade. Of course, every person who could be off today is not off, at least at KBYU. The entire staff is here, and we thank you very much for a terrific job you're doing. And we have a corporate sponsor that we need to thank, too.
Of course, New Skin. Thank you very much for support today and making this whole thing possible. Great supporter of this incredible activity. What an expense.
What an
Lots
expense.
of things going on, and we're glad that you could be with us. Thanks for joining us on KBYU TV. Have a great Independence Day.